Before I start the video, I want to say really quickly I made 2 mistakes in the Narrative Garbage series, and I want to say something about Chevrolet. Plus this video will contain a shit ton more opinion than usual. One mistake was in part 6 and the other one was in part 9. So we start with part 6. I said that it's weird that a native would attack the Oneida village. First off, Kesekowase is actually it's...
Right. Well, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Second of all, there are people like him who attacked other tribes. So that was bad on my part, and I wanna apologize for my mistake. Still doesn't explain why Kesekowase or his allies will attack the Oneida.
His allies threaten a friendly Oneida village.
Why?
His allies threaten a friendly Oneida village.
Why?
The second one was me saying that Shane never questions the Templars, but he did ask Monroe about the assassins poisoning civilians. Even though the entire scene was ridiculous stupid and he never kept asking more questions. In general, he should question a lot more. About Chevrolet, I personally found that I didn't handle his exit in my previous video right. Chevrolet as a character is really interesting, but we simply didn't have enough screen time with him to understand his character better. Plus his background is kind of interesting if you look it up. Back to the video. This is heresy of the highest order. So remember the glitches that transported Shay and you, the player, 20 years into the future? Well, for some reason the virus sends us to the exact date, the one day and time where Shay Patrick Cormac, the main protagonist of Assassin's Creed Rogue, killed Charles Dorian, the father of Arnold Dorian. I should thank Ubisoft and the writers in person to give me another chance to tear down Unity. But I won't, because it made me relive my own atrocious genetic memory. Before I will go into the reasons why the ending is bad, I do want to say I understand why people like the ending. And I can sort of understand and guess what the writers were thinking. Unity and Rogue came out on the same day back in 2014. Unity was a next gen title and Rogue was a last gen title. So they wanted to connect the two games. How will they do that? They came up with the idea that Shay Cormac, a rogue assassin, killed Charles Dorian, the father of Arno, which will send him on the path to become an assassin. This works in concept and has to be one of the most effective ways I've seen in years in the Assassin's Creed franchise on how to connect the main games, because today we don't really do that anymore. It used to be in the old days of the franchise.
It's been 84 years.
Before the slow fever, before the Templars, before everything collapsed. But that's all in the past.
That playing the previous game was important to understand everything that was going on. Today not so. As an example, you can play Assassin's Creed Syndicate without playing the previous games. The only major question you're gonna get is, who are these people? Why are they here and why does it exist? Which should send a warning sign to the writing department and the player for not playing the previous games. Shay and you basically created the story of Unity. You essentially created a whole new storyline and worlds to explore. Fascinating. All simply done by a press on the button. But story-wise speaking, there is no real reason to send us to the exact day when Charles Dorian died. The only reason why we are here to kill him is to get back to precursor box. It could have been anyone really. It could have been any random assassin that just happens to be there. The surrounding doesn't support the story a lot too. The memory could take place in England and nothing of value will be lost. The connection between the games just exists to forcefully connect the storylines of both games. Second of all, you wouldn't knew that this was Paris if you've never played or seen Unity before. So we have the characters flat out tell us that this is Paris.
Benjamin Franklin. That's who Shay is after.
Franklin traveled to England and France, and that guy said Notre Dame. Shay must be in Paris. Time to show me what you got.
Eliminate the threat. Protect Franklin.
You could try to argue that the French voice acting from the assassin should be enough. And yes, that is indeed a good and interesting argument. But why do these people walk around in the Colonial Brotherhood clothes? Why are they here in Paris? Why do they wear these clothes? True. The French voice acting gets contradicted by young Arno and Elise. These two are born in France and learn to speak French at a very young age, but somehow they speak British.
I'm Arno. Elise, I'm here with my father. So am I. He has important business with
Alors, vous l'avez trouvé? Ouais, Benjamin Franklin est à Notre-Dame.
I'm here with my father. So am I.
Yes, father.
Yes, father. I live in France, but I have a British accent.
The villains want to kill Benjamin Church. Shay saves him of course and wants Benjamin's help to infiltrate the palace to kill Charles Dorian and get back the precursor box, even though he should just destroy the manuscript to make the box useless. The problem with Benjamin here is that he is filler and nothing more. His only function here is to let Shay go inside the palace where Charles and the box currently are. Even in Rogue, for some reason, Charles Dorian takes his son with him to the palace for plots, just like he did in Unity, so Arno and Elise could meet each other and Arno could be adopted by her father. Shay sneaks into the palace, but if Shay can sneak in so well into this guarded place, why did he need Benjamin's help to begin with? If Arno Victor Dorian himself, without any assassin training, can sneak into Elise de la Sage's party, where they celebrated her becoming a full member of the Templar Order, then what prevents Mr. I make my own luck, who has 20 years more of experience, infiltrating the palace? After some sneaking around, we see young Arno and young Elise. Now, this is where the timeline gets convoluted stupid. According to Rogue, Shay was the one who killed Charles Dorian, but that would be impossible. It takes Shay and the player at least a few minutes to kill Charles Dorian and leave the crime scene. We even have a chit chat with him before he dies. We have enough time to walk away from him, but in Unity, Arno and Elise only talk to each other for a few seconds. So that means Shay must have killed Charles Dorian, talked to him, robbed him of the box, walked away towards the camera in less than a minute.
Did you see their faces when we stole those apples? I'm Arno. Elise. I'm here with my father. So am I. He has important business with the king. What should we do now? Shh. Faces when we stole those apples. I'm Arno.
Where are you going?
You're a traitor. I'm just finishing your business. Oh, pardon me, the American Revolution unleashed the business. Perhaps just such a revolution. Oh, President Arnold, and all that for which we stand, never share our secrets.
Great Scott! Jennifer could conceivably encounter her future self. The consequences of that could be disastrous.
I'm Arno. Elise.
The encounter could create a time paradox.
You're the traitor.
The results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe.
In Unity we only heard a scream and we didn't know how long Charles was lying there on the ground. But now it seems like he was murdered at the most unlogical time.
The time continuum has been disrupted, creating this new temporal event sequence resulting in this alternate reality.
That's how you're here now?
That is completely out of the question. You must leave this house. Anything you do could have serious repercussions on future events. Do you understand?
Shay killing Charles Dorian has also no point if Shay never returns in Unity. And Arno isn't actively looking for his biological father's murderer. Do you understand what I mean? It could have been anyone. Hell, it could have been in a heart attack. It doesn't matter so long Arno was there present so he could be adopted by the father of Elise. He just needed to die. That was the point. By the way, after 4 years since the launch of Unity, it still isn't entirely clear why Arno fell in love with Elise, who he should consider more as his sister because of their situation. That is why they fell in love. But sir, I don't understand. Why do they fall in love? Is it because they played with each other one time when they were children and because they stole cookies? Why can Arno not find anyone else? Are you questioning my skills as a writer? Wait, what? How dare you to come into this room with your dirty, logical questions?
I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, sir.
No way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here. Out.
Dad, I got your voucher.
Out!
I'm so sorry. We'll have him, burned and...
I don't even know who that guy is.
The Unity novel at least tried to explain why Elise fell in love with Arno. Elise was a bit of a tomboy. Elise wanted to play with wooden swords, but because she was a girl, that was strange, so she had to play with dolls. Her parents were more okay with it though, and besides them, she could also be herself around Arno Dorian. It sort of explains why she will be attracted to Arno. But just like in the game, it was forced romance, and we still don't know exactly why Arno fell in love with Elise, which was more creepy because it was more of an obsession than love. So here's a theory of mine. It's wild speculation and never confirmed, but I'm convinced that the only reason Arno and Elise became family is so the writers could shoehorn the family theme into Unity. For those who are unaware, almost every Assassin's Creed product in existence has family drama. The soundtrack you hear in the main menu in like Every Assassin's Creed game is called the Ezio team, which most people refer to as family. But because the writers couldn't find a logical way to insert the family theme into Unity's storyline, they killed off Charles Dorian and made the Lascelles adopt Arno, which barely influenced the dialogue in the game. There was also a wasted golden opportunity here to make the assassins question that they should accept Arno into their ranks because he spent the majority of his life in a Templar household. Of course, the assassins don't care about your social status and it doesn't really matter to them if you come from a terrible family because you are you. But letting Arno Dorian inside their ranks, the adopted son of a Grand Master, could be really interesting, you know. This could lead to interesting character moments between Arno and Bellic.
Come here, you little piss boy. Get your hands off me. Look at the wall. What are you doing? Concentrate. Concentrate.
What are they?
Bellic could maybe feel conflicted that Arno Dorian, the son of Charles Dorian, who he seemed to have a good relationship with, got adopted into a Templar household. But he's still willing to give Arno a second chance. After a few months of training together and assassinating Templars, Bellic could say with pride that Arno is a born assassin, and that he is proud that Arno is following his biological father's footsteps. This scene could be awfully similar to the Altair token with Amalin in Assassin's Creed Revelations.
You fit your father's shoes as if they had been tailored to your feet.
I did not know him well as a father. He was an assassin, above all.
Plus, Arno could attach himself more to Bellic here because he knew his father. But the only time they bring this up is when they fight to the death.
I've seen Templars put entire villages to the sword just for the chance of killing one assassin. Tell me, in your vast experience, what have you seen?
I've seen the Grand Master of the Templar Order take in a frightened orphan and raise him as his own son.
I want to point out though that I'm personally happy that we don't have dead parents invoked to start the plot off with. It has become a real cliche in the franchise. Look, you can do the family theme so long, you don't repeat the same story over and over again in your franchise. 1 or 2 times is enough. But now we have a rope gallery of assassins with dead parents. As someone here who wants to become an author himself and adores storytelling, you will slowly lose the investment of your audience if you keep repeating the exact same story beat. Black Flag is an interesting example of taking a break of the Assassins versus Templar conflict, but it was still there present in the story and open world. Completely ignoring it will be strange lore and narrative wise because the Assassins and Templars are almost involved with every conflict, which does require, if you ask me, a little bit of suspension of disbelief here and there. And a few other reasons why it will be strange if Black Flag completely ignored the Assassins and Templars will be that Haytham Kenway and Templar is the son of Edward Kenway, and the Assassin's Templar conflict is part of the identity of the franchise. Speaking of novels in Unity, why do I need to read your novels to understand your game better? Why are all the answers not in the game? In the novels they explain why there are first civilization drawings on the walls in Arno's cell. How did Haytham learn that Connor was his son? Read the novel. Why is Elise interested in Arno? Read the novel. Back to topic. When Shay stabs Charles Dorian, the man reveals that the American Revolution and Connor Kenway have undone everything the Templars did there. Gosh, I wonder why there are still American assassins. Maybe we should visit the homestead, Shay.
And perhaps we shall start a revolution of our own.
Wait, are you implying here that you're behind the French Revolution? I'm confused. Are you saying you want to start a revolution? Why would you want to do that? To give the Templars more control, but that will mean the innocents will die, Shay. You know that, right? So far as we have seen right now in the franchise, revolutions cost sacrifice. But okay, let's accept the idea that Shay implied the French Revolution here, okay? The French Revolution, so far my history knowledge goes, was one of the most bloodiest revolutions of all time. Or that has ever happened. That will mean Shay was okay with sending hundreds of ordinary civilians on the street attacking people. You wanted to save lives. You wanted mercy. You didn't want to kill hope. You were sick of war. And now, if I'm correct, you want to start one of the most bloodiest revolutions of all time? You're a fine example of a dumb individual. Shay walks away towards the camera and starts randomly monologuing to himself in his head, while Charles Dorian is struggling for his life. Why isn't Charles pointing his gun towards Shay? Is it because he is wounded? Does he think Shay can best him? You know what? forget it. Why are we following an eagle again? It has no point. Why aren't we following Shay trying to get out of the palace? We are not reliving the memories of an eagle. For those who are unaware, the eagle as a creature and symbol is related with the Assassin Order. Shay is a member of the colonial white of the Templar Order and left the Brotherhood behind. So what is an eagle doing here? Is it so it can rhyme with the opening of the game? Is it for fan servers? Who knows? We leave the animals and Otzelberg wants us, the player, the employee of Abstergo Entertainment, to upload what we have found to the Assassin Network.
What a twist!
Of course! Why not?
We go downstairs to the basement where things go really crazy for no real reason. We know it's the virus, it's implied, but it doesn't add anything here to the situation. We were going to upload the footage anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Why does Otzelberg want to upload Assassin's Creed Rogue to the Assassin Brotherhood, you ask me? He just wants to tell them he will hunt them down, make them afraid, and say they're weak.
Modern day assassins are weak. It is only a matter of time before I catch the last of them and kill them. But it is not enough for them to die.
What happened in Haiti happened in Portugal. A great earthquake. Thousands dead thanks to your damned manuscript.
Get him out of here.
I want them to know how weak they truly are. And I want everyone to see them suffer. So on the day they finally meet me, they will welcome the death I offer them.
Shay was right.
What? What the fuck?
More than me, apparently.
My plan is in motion. I have no further demand to place upon you. However, Shay's story is...
Before I continue, to that one person that keeps telling me and everyone else that Rogue confirmed that William Miles was dead, no, it also said that he was alive, so it was kind of left as a mystery. First off, what does this do for Otzelberg? If the assassins now go into hiding, will it not be harder for the Templars to track them down? We know the assassins are weaker than ever before, but now you're just making things unnecessarily harder for yourself. So what does Otzelberg and the Templar Order get exactly out of this? We know that the more the assassins are weak, but they're still in threat. If the assassins are now panicking, regrouping and hiding, then what does that offer to the Templar Order and Otzelberg? The biggest problem with this whole scene is that we don't have enough information. The future games treat it like it never happened. We don't see the consequences of this on screen. And so I had to look it up on the Wikipedia to know what happened to the assassins after this.
I am super impressed, Numbskull. You really came through for us. And yes, I am also a Templar. Have been for years.
It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you up here today.
Gotta hand it to you, Numbskull. You proved yourself to be more than a simple research monkey.
The data you extracted from Shay Cormac's memories has served us well. Shay's story is a message. One that says that when threatened, what an assassin truly wants isn't freedom, but order.
And we represent the highest order there is.
So when the assassins get threatened, they will get violently crazy and try to control cities with criminal networks? And how does Shay's story tell us when an assassin gets threatened, he wants order?
One that says that when threatened, what an assassin truly wants isn't freedom, but order.
The story tried to convince us that they didn't mind earthquakes. It never explicitly told us that they wanted to use earthquakes to control cities, except if you're gonna count that one random dialogue from Shay.
This mad grab for power. It ends now.
What made him think Achilles wanted power? Where did you get that information from? He only told you that these artifacts are powerful.
Whoever controls the artifacts can access precursor sites of power. We must recover them, or none are safe.
This mad grab for power. It ends now.
Be careful, Shay. Pieces of Eden are powerful relics.
Mad grab for power. The temple was filled to bursting with that kind of power. You made me slaughter innocent!
Fuck off, Shay!
You defend him?
Yes, you're making assumptions and you're making no sense whatsoever!
And in Haiti,
what the hell's going on? Stop this!
Get him out of here.
Mentor, can we execute him in the morning? Good idea, Hope. Shall we put boiling boils against his chest with rats in it so they will try to escape by biting their way through his chest? Well, that's some Mortal Kombat shit there, but okay. Now I think about it, why was Hope even in the room where Achilles was confronted by Shay? It's really convenient, you know? Or am I just misunderstanding this?
But order.
And we represent the highest order there is.
Okay, we have to choose between bad crazy order or the good nation Templar order. You know what? Fuck it. I'm at the end of the game. I'm just gonna let the clip roll.
Whatever you learned from your Animus experience only scratches the surface. We have existed since before recorded human history and have recently been reborn, disguised as Abstergo Industries.
And entertainment.
You have crossed the threshold, and your eyes have been opened. You have seen the world for what it truly is.
There's no turning back now. We got big plans for you.
The Father of Understanding guided you to us, and for that, we are grateful. The test of your true worth begins now. And it begins with a choice.
Join us, and a bright future will be all yours.
Refuse.
You know what the worst part about the scene is? It's almost perfect. The Templars are doing an initiation ceremony here at the very end of the game. They showed you the truth, the true history of the world. They bestow you the Templar ring and now you're given a choice. You live and become a Templar, a shepherd to lead the sheep. But if you refuse order, you refuse peace. You either join the New World Order or die. The screen goes black, making the player question if he or she should join the Templar Order. But once again, a beautiful scene gets ruined by bad writing. We only saw an illusion inside the Animus, remember?
Illusions! All of them!
But you saw through Assassin's Creed Rogue. You saw through the illusion of the narrative. You paid attention to the details, saw the plot holes and contradictions, know the lore better than anyone else. And do you know why, Altair? Because you listened! You kept asking questions like an assassin should. You thought like one. And that is how the game ends. That is the end of Rogue. Not the Almalin part though, that was just me. After the credits we can still walk around in Abstergo. There's a file on your communicator, aka your tablet, that says the Templars gave you time to think. I am honestly lost for words here. I personally will always consider Unity the worst written Assassin's Creed game to date. But pushing my feelings aside for now, Rogue can be considered much worse narrative wise. The difference between Rogue and Unity is, one acts like it's important to the world of Assassin's Creed, and the other one you can forget even existed. Unity had zero to nothing new to tell in the Assassin's Creed universe. It had a golden opportunity to make the Assassins and Templars unite for once. But what we got was an artificial love story crafted by monkeys locked away in a dungeon who never experienced love. Unity will make much more sense if Arno and Lee just go at each other like rabbits, you know, but Rogue tries to be important, and how does it do that? Screwing Achilles over as a character, forcing Hatem into the storyline, earthquakes, putting Adewale in the game and disrespecting Adewale as a character, breaking all the tenets of the creed, switching the roles between the Assassins and the Templars, trying to ignore the grey area, shoehorning this into canon by making references to the past games because it doesn't fit into canon, making pieces of Eden in temples with no purpose to exist, making a connection with the next gen title, creating Unity. Do I need to go on? Why couldn't the story just not be about Shay defecting from the Brotherhood because he disagreed with them and believed the Templars were right? Because it will be boring? Then why not start the game off as a Templar or not make the story at all? Why do we need to downgrade the ideology, philosophy of both organizations to this extent? You could also make a story where Shay goes rogue on both sides, with him realizing that he does not fit in any faction. You can also write a story with Achilles as the main protagonist. The game starts off with him having a lot of faith, hope in humanity, the world and the Brotherhood. But slowly the story just gets darker. You lose control of what's happening and eventually you will find yourself with Achilles alone and defeated. Maybe at the end of the story we meet Connor from Achilles' point of view and the screen goes black. And if it continues, maybe we get some extra character development between Connor and Achilles. The game could also have been about Connor, Evelyn and Adewale working together, hunting down a certain group of Templars overseas. But that would mean Adewale should have stayed alive for a very, very long time.
Ah! Ah!
There's so much wasted potential here, and it saddens me to know that this might be the only real Templar game out there, you know? Probably won't see a game that focuses this much on the Templars anytime soon, but maybe I will be proven wrong in the future. It was a fun idea that could have been done so much better. Do I think we will ever see Shay again? No, I don't think so, not in a game at least. So there was another reason why I referenced the Lost Descendant novels in the beginning of the series. So, spoiler alert for 3 very good novels. Shay has a descendant in the modern day era, a boy named Javier, who relived the memories of Cutler Cormac, the grandson of Shay, who was alive during the 19th century, creating the New York dress riots. So we know he got children and a modern day descendant. So we might see him again, but I doubt in a game. So after putting many hours in making these videos, writing a script for each episode, playing the game, the only conclusion I can find why people love this story so much is the characters. No, really, my thoughts haven't changed much since the beginning of the series. Hope, Liam, Kiseko-Wase, Adewale, Achilles were fun to hang out with for as long as it lasted, even though Achilles got treated bad in the end in Adewale too. I liked hanging out with them before Shay went rogue. Even some of the Templars have interesting backgrounds and were okay. Yes, this might sound contradictory with everything I have said, and I admit that. But honestly, that's just how I feel, and it's probably the reason why Rogue has a fanbase to begin with. Plus the idea of playing as a Templar even though they just switch the skins. If I want to feel something again for the characters, I will hire these writers in a heartbeat. But if I want a well-written critical game, but not a shallow story that respects the Assassin's Creed and the Templar Order, then I will not hire these people until they prove me otherwise. I won't be surprised that the story was written on purpose here to make you feel something for the characters instead of actually paying attention to the story structure, that it makes sense, the world building, and well, everything else. Don't make people think too much about the lore, character consistency, and story. If Achilles gets stupid, don't worry. Make the scene go quick so the player hasn't enough time to think about it. Is the script too short? Don't worry. We make it unnecessarily longer by level design and more. But somehow we don't have enough time for the other characters like Jack Weeks. Oh no, the artifact falls on the ground. Don't worry, there are no people nearby and the sea doesn't get insanely dangerous. Achilles lies on the ground to be killed by Hatem. Don't worry, Shaeus comes in time to prevent and convince Hatem not to kill Achilles. We can't send Achilles and Liam away from New York. Don't worry, Hope learned to activate the box without using lightning. It breaks its own rules now? You want the old players to feel something, so put Adewale in the story because they have a connection with him. Oh, where's the manuscript? Don't worry, Liam has it and basically kisses to Shay. Plus, don't let him fall in the cold water please, or else Shay dies. Liam also deserves better than this. Shay is no ship, don't worry. We said 1 hour ago his ship was in New York because Hope wanted it there and Shay just happens to stumble upon it in less than 2 hours when he got out of bed. He didn't even try to look for it and just found it. Shay miraculously escapes from the homestead, gets shot in the back and falls off a cliff. But don't worry, he survived the whole trip from the homestead to New York. The cat at the Finnegan's house has probably more interesting stories to tell about his life and that of his or her cat friends.
In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
There are moments where you as the reader, player and observer will think to yourself, no, that is convenient or impossible, the writer did that to make point B happen. Even talented writers with a lot of experience will admit that to you. But at least most times it's not mind-blowingly weird, obvious, too distracting from the story and needs to break its own rules. Something Rogue does too many times. And still people will try to defend this by saying whatever. And one of the responses I will get most of the times is, it's Assassin's Creed, nothing makes sense. You don't search for logic in Assassin's Creed. Okay, imagine now Rogue gets a sequel. Shay wakes up in space naked on screen. He crashes down Earth and survives because he landed on the Chinese wall. He steals clothes of an elderly couple after finally murdering them. He teleports himself over time in space so he can meet Ezio Auditore and take a dump in his mouth. Shay will look at the camera and smile. He flies to the sun and kicks the sun into another dimension and flies back to Earth to say to Achilles, who is supposed to be in exile right now.
You
made me slaughter innocents!
If you're gonna tell me that makes no sense, I tell you, it's Assassin's Creed. Nothing makes sense. You don't search for logic in Assassin's Creed. Hey, remember the old days when they at least tried to make rules?
How dare you!
What? It's true, they at least tried back in the old days, but today the lore is all over the place. It's almost like it never mattered to begin with. Why even set up all these rules if you're just gonna throw it away anyway? What are you going to tell me? That I should never use my brains? That I should never pay attention? I should never become invested in someone's work? Okay, fine, but isn't it saying something about the product then? Look, you can like the story so far, I care, but calling it a fantastic addition to the franchise is bizarre and ridiculous in so many ways. And that is all. I can talk longer, but that was about it.
Our time together was brief, I know.
The storyline's finished, and so I won't longer waste your time. If you are wondering, will I make another Assassin's Creed series? Maybe. I'm still curious to the sequels to some of my favorite games of all time, of course. And what they will add to one of my favorite fictional universes out there. I mean, was one of my favorite fictional universes, if you understand what I mean, of course. Maybe I just make a series what is wrong about certain aspects of the Assassin's Creed universe or certain story elements. Certain additions or characters, like Gino, why she's a wasted character. Gino is all hype with no payoff. I know there are certainly people out there who will be interested in watching that, so maybe I make a video about Juno. I hope you had fun watching the entire series and this video, and even if you disagree with everything I said, I still want to thank you for at least caring enough to keep watching and hearing what I had to say. Have a fun day or night wherever you are.
I walk among the wolves, leader of the pack. They're loyal to my cause and keep the knives out of my back. To all my fallen kin, I will avenge the past. We were the first to bleed, but we will be the last. Lock all your doors and draw your curtains. Templars hiding inside of their churches. What is a king if his crown is worthless? If he ends up dead, he deserved it. Chasing a shadow, how's that been working? Kick it to Kenway, you oughta learn it. Hidden beneath my hood's a purpose. First things first, get off my turf, bitch. I think it's best if you get off my land. I'm coming at you with the rusty tomahawk in hand. I'm leaving a path of bloody disaster, now do you understand? I've come for the crown, so don't make a sound. I'm gonna bring down the mayor. I know the man you are, I know your every lie. 'Cause I can see it all when I'm up in the sky. I take a leap of faith and then the eagles cry. I am the lonely blade who cuts you down in the night. The earth shakes when I roar, I'll make it hurt. If I can free this land, I'll see it overturn. You think I'm just a boy who won't put up a fight? I'm gonna make you believe before the day that you die.